Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 25th Annual NAI Division II Men's Basketball National Championships and to the Keeter Gymnasium on the campus of the College of the Ozarks. Here are the lineups for this semifinal game featuring the Panthers of Davenport University and the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan University. First, let's meet our honorary coaches for Davenport, Wes Sutton and Zach Keck of Baymont Inn and Suites. And for Indiana Wesleyan, Mark Jernigan and Gary Layton of Lloyd's Electric. And now your starting lineups. At forward for Davenport, a 6'5" senior from Flint, Michigan, number 2, Dominez Burnett. At guard for Indiana Wesleyan, a 5'11" senior from Greenwood, Indiana, number 10, Johnny Marlin. At guard for Davenport, a 6-foot senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 3, Nick Gamble. At forward for Indiana Wesleyan, a 6'7" junior from Rockville, Indiana, number 23, Lane Mahurin. At forward for Davenport, a 6'6" junior from Grand Rapids, Michigan, number 5, Kevin Rich. At forward for Indiana Wesleyan, a 6'8" senior from Muncie, Indiana, number 33, Josh Maywar. At guard for Davenport, a 6'3" senior from Ellicott City, Maryland, number 14, Wayne Bradford. At guard for Indiana Wesleyan, a 6'2" junior from Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, number 34, Bob Peters. At forward for Davenport, a 6'6" junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 22, John McLeod. And at forward for Indiana Wesleyan, a 6'6" sophomore from Mooresville, Indiana, number 44, Jacob Johnson. Head coach for Davenport is Bert Paddock. The head coach for Indiana Wesleyan is Greg Tonigal. The officials are Juan Corral, Rob Tesh, and James Pouncey. The NAIA and
welcome to the NAI Division II Men's National Basketball Championships for the College of the Ozarks at Point Lookout, Missouri, the 25th annual event. This is brought to you by the NAIA and Stretch Internet, the NAIA's official video streaming provider. One more ticket to punch to the national championship game tomorrow night. St. Francis Cougars got the first ticket by beating Indiana University East a little bit earlier. And our second game will feature the University of Davenport Panthers against Indiana Wesleyan University's Wildcats. I'm Scott McCauley, glad to have you with us here from the Keeter Athletic Complex. The offense of Indiana Wesleyan, 95 points per game. The defense of Davenport allowing only 63 points a game. Just some of the facets of the game that we're going to be bringing you this evening. Here to call the play-by-play in the second half. I'll be here for that. But in the meantime, to bring you the first half of action, here is my partner and good friend, Mr. Terry Phillips.
Thanks a lot. Davenport will be dressed in their road black uniforms, heading left to right. And the Wildcats from Indiana Wesleyan going right to left. Juan Corral to toss it up, and it will be opening tip controlled by the Wildcats. Marlin will set it up as he usually does on the offensive end. Get it, drive by Mahurin. Over into the corner. Underneath, Mahurin goes under the basket. Shot no good, but the tip did drop down. Maywar with his first points of the game. And it's an early 2-0 lead for Indiana Wesleyan. McLeod starts to drive. He kicks back out. Dominez Burnett does about everything you could ask in a player. This time he dishes off. Three-point shot is good by Kevin Rich. So both teams coming out hitting on their first offensive possessions. There's a stop, a block, and Davenport going the opposite direction. Burnett sets it up on the right wing, kicks down into the corner, gets the ball back. 10 seconds left to shoot. Here's another look at three. This one's going to be off, out of bounds. It'll stay with Davenport. 5 seconds on the shot clock. We We've played 1 minute and 24 seconds. 3-2. The score here is a drive shot, no good. And it did not hit the rim, and the clock shot violation will get the ball back over to the Wildcats.
Just an indication about how Indiana Wesleyan can play defense on their own. They allow 74, almost 75 points per game, just 3 short of what Davenport scores on the average for the season. So it'll be real interesting to see if Indiana Wesleyan can keep Davenport close to their average, and more importantly, can Indiana Wesleyan buck the trend and score more than the 63 a game that Davenport allows.
There's the shot, Davenport in transition. 3-point shot by Riches, no good. Battle for the rebound, and the Wildcats come away with it. Drive underneath, it's not there. They have to slow it down and set up in the half-court set. Marlin triggers it into the lane. Nice dish-off pass. The shot is no good, and we head the opposite direction. This is Gamble out on the right wing. By the way, that three-pointer by Rich just a little bit ago, Scott, his 200th of his career.
Wow.
Jump shot is good. That's McLeod getting on the scoreboard, extends the lead to 5-2 for Davenport.
You know, a lot of people setting records. I believe Dominique Burnett is very close to moving up the scoring list here in the national championship, which we'll talk about as we go through the game. We had a chance to see him all 4 years here, and just a quality player, and hoping to bring his team to the title land here this week.
Shot by Maharan, missed inside, rebound tipped, and it is saved. It'll stay Wildcat basketball. This time it goes in. The lay-in good there from Maywar. Maywar with all 4 of the points for the Wildcats thus far in the game, brings his team back to within 1. Out on the left wing with us is Bradford. Coming to get it is Burnett. Burnett closely guarded, has to get rid of it. 3-point shot from the opposite side, no good. Offensive rebound, though, keeps it with Davenport. Drive by Gamble. Spin move inside. This time a shot is blocked once again. It stays with Davenport, though. Rich for another 3, missed this one. Now we come down. Marlin's going to launch the 3. As end-to-end action continues in this national semifinal. 3 from the corner. This one does count. And that's Dominique Burnett, his 2,854th point of his career. And among the leaders all time in scoring here at the championships. Lob inside to Maharan. Spin move, got a little room. Now he's double teamed, actually able to keep control of the basketball as he bounced it off the defender. His shot no good, and it's 1 and out as Dominique Burnett claims the rebound. Now someone lost a shoe, but they're playing anyway.
I think that's Mayhor that's playing without a shoe right now. He threw a shoe at the other end, if you will.
Now, and he's actually, you can see, running up with the one shoe off, but with the brace on, a quick timeout on the floor.
15:25 to go in the first half. Davenport with the early 8-4 lead over Indiana Wesleyan. 60,000 student athletes, 260 college campuses, 23 national championship events, and $500 million in athletic aid. Get in the game today at playnai.org. Of course, this will be our final presentation of the NAI Division II Men's National Basketball Championships on NAI.org and Stretch Internet, as ESPN3 will cover the championship game. In fact, ESPN3 is doing the semifinals and championship game of the women's event in Sioux City, Iowa, that's going on tonight. But don't forget to tune back to NAI.org for coverage of the Division I men's and women's basketball championships. Get more information on all that by going to NAI.org.
Indiana Wesleyan 31-5 on the season. Victories over Bellevue, Northwest Christian, and York to get here. Davenport 32-4. Their wins to get here. St. Xavier, Warner Pacific, and Warner. They were winners of the Liston bracket, while the Wildcats were taking care of business down over in the Durer bracket. Inside there's a steal. Davenport with a lead and the basketball. Dominique Burnett, spin move inside and finishes with the left hand.
You know, I don't think you need to really describe what you just saw, because, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we've seen Dominez Burnett do here. Every year he's been at point lookout, and that's why he's one of the top all-time players at Davenport University. Just a solid player, and that was a pretty special move right there.
Yeah, he's gone over 260 points now all-time in this tournament and moving up the all-time list. As a matter of fact, coming in, he ranked 6th all-time. And if you're a Davenport fan, you hope he has this one and one more still to play in him. Wildcats trying to prevent that, though. Pull up from about 8 feet is no good. And Davenport, once again, limits them to one shot. Here they come in transition. Gamble slows it up and kicks it outside. They find Burnett over in front of the Wildcat bench. Gamble comes back out. Still 15 seconds left to shoot. 14:23 on the game clock here in the first half. It's the second national semifinal from the Division II National Basketball Championship for NAIA here in Point Lookout, Missouri. Gamble goes down to the floor, and it's because he was hit. That will be a foul, and it'll be an inbound pass, and most importantly for them, because the shot clock was running down, it's a fresh 30 to shoot.
Yeah, it gives them another opportunity here. If you aren't just tuning our way, we do want to remind folks that the other ticket, as we mentioned, to the national championship game punched by St. Francis as they rolled over Indiana University East 79-55. There's no doubt that St. Francis played well, but Indiana University East had one of the toughest shooting nights of anybody I've seen in the national championships in the 17 years they played. They shot 15% from the field in the first half, and St. Francis just pulled to a big league, and they really could never get back in the game.
Maharan's shot is short. She was just inside the arc with that one. And here comes Burnett already with 5 points in the game. Gamble, as he does a lot of times, sets it up, calming his team down, and starts the offense with 16 seconds left to go here on the shot clock. Burnett along the baseline. He's going to drive and back out. Now turns back in and will dish off, but he charged. Player control foul against Dominez Burnett. It's his first foul and second team foul against Davenport.
Good job by Nate Bubash to get to the baseline that time as he got to the spot. We've often talked about this, that the challenge is making sure to set the right angle to get to the spot to draw that charge, and Bubash did a good job that time of getting to where he needed to go to make sure he got the offensive foul.
So Marlin brings it up the floor here for Davenport. Evans into the game now. They throw it down low to Maharan. He tried to throw it back out. Marlin just inside the arc hits it. Just inside the lane hits the shot.
And I think he did a good job here that time hitting the backboard. They're not shooting well, so he wanted to make extra sure he got that shot down, so used the backboard and deflected it in.
And now it's Gamble. Goes down low, McLeod. And McLeod draws the foul down low. This time he had backed in, and the defense was not set when the contact happened, and he was able to pick up the block.
I think he was leaning a little bit back too, and I think that's what got the call going the other way. And again, as we've said many times, anybody that claims to be an expert on the block charge call, please go to the basketball rule book because they want to talk to you right now. It is a very tough call to make, but just from our vantage point, it looked like the first two of the game were called absolutely dead on.
So it remains Davenport ball here under 13 minutes left to play here in the first half. Burnett being guarded here by Johnson. Trying to back him down. Will pull up, shoot three over him. It's in and out, no good. McLeod there for the rebound. Reverse layup drops.
Well, Davenport did a good job of blocking out, but at Indiana Wesleyan, at one point you got to get the rebound. Yeah. No one did, and McLeod made him pay.
Johnson, dish underneath, shot good and a foul. Murray gets the basket, and now a chance at a three-point play. Chance to cut this lead in half if he hits it. Indiana Wesleyan, the Crossroad League tournament runner-up. And Davenport, the Wolverine Hoosier tournament champions. Phil's free throw was good. So the 6-point lead becomes a 3-point lead for Davenport. But they get a chance to add to it as it's their turn on the offensive end. Into the game now is Jordan. He wants a three. This one is blocked and then tipped by McLeod, but right into the hands of the offense for the Wildcats into the front court. This is Evans who had just checked in. Peters on a drive, gives up the ball and gets it back. Peters wants three. It's no good, but he goes to the free throw line. Bob Peters, a 6'2" junior from Chattahooga Falls, Ohio. Second team all-conference in the Crossroads League. He shoots 79% from the free throw line.
Indiana Wesleyan, the 2014 national champions.
Yes.
Trying to get back to the title game and make it an all-Crossroads League game. Meanwhile, for Davenport, they've been to the semifinals a couple of times, trying to make it past there, but also trying to keep alive the streak of the Wolverine Hoosier Conference. If they can win it, then it would be the second straight win for that conference after Cornerstone took the title last year.
So both teams chasing history just for different reasons. All three free throws drop and we're tied. 12-12, a distinctly different feeling from the first semifinal.
Oh, yeah. The fact of the matter is teams are making shots for one thing, not like poor Indiana University East, but both teams seem to be kind of getting in their groove after Indiana Wesleyan started off slow.
Burnett throws it away. Wildcats in transition. Layup no good, and the follow-up, and a foul.
And I think they got the foul on the previous.
On the first shot?
Yeah, and they had a little bit of.
Here comes the ball.
A little bit of conversation going on a little bit after the foul, but I believe they got it on the initial drive to the basket is what they got, and that was the foul occurred before the follow-up shot. So that's why it will be Jacob Johnson going to the free throw line for Indiana Wesleyan to try to give them the lead.
Now they kind of forgot about the ball. It rolls over here, and then they started looking for it, and I had to finally point it out to one of the players. The officials didn't know where the ball was.
Thought you might have just kicked it out on the court there.
I did. I kind of tapped it out, and it actually was rotating, so it actually went to my right instead of straight out in front of me.
Didn't get a solid hit on it then.
Well, I didn't. They've got a banner or something right here in front of us. Free throw, no good. Another one coming out.
That banner's one of the reasons we're sitting here, so don't forget
well,
that.
I'm not complaining about it at all. One more free throw. And it will not drop either, so two missed free throws there. Opportunity missed. Here comes Davenport and a chance to regain the lead. Gamble backs it back out. Still plenty of time to set up the shot. McLeod on a drive here. He wanted to pass that one off and nobody was there. Luckily for him, it just deflects off of a Wildcat and goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think it almost trapped against him because he was trying to deflect it out as well, but because the Davenport player was right next to him, he had no place to throw it.
Yeah. He wanted to do a little wraparound pass. What happened? Everybody had vacated from that side. Still 15 seconds on the shot clock. Burnett to trigger the inbound. It is stolen. Here come the Wildcats in transition. The layup was too strong, but the tap in did go back in. Johnson gets credit for the basket. 14-12. Indiana Wesleyan now in front. Layup strong. Wildcats with a rebound. Here they come. It is an 8-0 run right now for the Wildcats. Missed shot there, and Davenport has a chance to end it. Dominez Burnett, bump but no call. Outside three-point look, in and out. And the rebound to Marlin, who slows it down. Looks back and gets the call from the bench. Greg Tonigal signals what he wants. Tonigal going for victory number 300 of his career tonight if his Wildcats can get a win. And shots like that would help. Marlin with another field goal. 16-12 as the run continues, and there is a timeout on the floor. 10-19 left to go in this national semifinal, and your score, Indiana Wesleyan 16, Davenport 12.
The Prairie Student Athlete has a great ring to it. Join 60,000 others who feel the same way. You'll never run out of room to grow on the court, in the classroom, as a person. Learn more at NAIA.org. Scott McCauley along with Perry Phillips, glad to have you with us for our final presentation here on NAIA.org and Stretch Internet. Second semifinal game after St. Francis got the first win earlier today, beating Indiana University East. So St. Francis, a past national champion here. They took the title in 2010 and then followed that up with a runner-up finish in 2011. Indiana Wesleyan for many years had trouble getting past the quarterfinals. They would get there and run into a bump, but finally they broke through in 2014 all the way to the national championship. Davenport's been in the semifinals a couple of times, wanting to punch their ticket to their first national championship game appearance. 2012
and 2015, those years for Davenport. Here in the semis, ball taken away and stolen, going the other way. 3-on-1 break, lay-in is good. All the way to the hole that time was Bob Peters. His first field goal of the game to go with 3 free throws, 18-12. It is now a 12-0 run and a chance to add to it. Marlin in the front court with it. Down to 9:40 left to play first half. Long three-point shot, it's good. Marlin cans the three, his first of the game, 21-12. His 77th three-pointer of the season for the first team All-Crossroad League performer. Drive, shot with the left hand, left short. And all of a sudden, Davenport has gone ice cold from the field.
What, 15-0 run right now?
They led this 12-6. Marlin out on the right wing. Evans got it to Bush, back outside. Marlin resets with 9 seconds on the shot clock, telling everybody to clear out. He wants to drive. He does. He shoots. He misses it short. And then a foul at the other end as Bradford was trying to do the same thing. And you can't blame him here. Right now, Davenport is looking for a spark, and so he was going to try to create.
And, you know, at least going to the free throw line, you have a chance to end a 15-0 run for Indiana Wesleyan. And, you know, it's been a complete style game. The first 10 minutes pretty well belonged to Davenport. Very defensive-minded ball club. Kind of slowed the pace down, but once Indiana Wesleyan started hitting some shots and Davenport missed, they didn't get a lot of opportunities. They're actually going to call this foul on the floor, so they'll be out of bounds, but still, Davenport right now just looking for anything to get in the hole, and they can't even do that as they can't inbound the ball. So as dominant, or at least as in control as Davenport was nearly the first 10 minutes of this ball game, in the last 2 minutes or so, it's been all Indiana Wesleyan.
Now, Burnett had to call a timeout, could not get it in there. Risked a 5-second call if he didn't. So you're right, Indiana Wesleyan has taken control of complete momentum. They've jumped up by 9. This thing, it all started, as I said, they were trailing by 6 points. And matter of fact, Davenport even had the basketball, Indiana Wesleyan trying to, or I had it right, Davenport had the lead trying to extend it. But since that point, it's been all Indiana Wesleyan, and they've done it with cracking down on the defense, and that's led to scores on the other end.
Quick reminder that fans interested in ordering photographs from all the games of the National Championship should visit www.ciphotography.com.
This time it's Gamble to trigger the inbound. He throws it into McLeod. Eventually works back up to Bradford. Now right side Burnett. Back underneath McLeod. Double team. Able to split the double team. Ball underneath. Shot will not go. McLeod gets the rebound, but he is fouled. This time he will get free throws.
Well, I tell you what, they just, you know, even though the percentage isn't that bad, a lot of those shots is almost like we saw in the first game with IU East. IU East, a team that has shot so well in this championship, but in the first half against St. Francis, they were missing everything. 3-point shots, they were missing layups. I mean, it's just one of those things as the 15-0 run will end as the first free throw good by McLeod. But, you know, and sometimes you just get in that funk and you just hope you can survive to get out of it. And, you know, IU East just was never able to do that. Davenport trying to reverse the trend now in the final 8:32 of the first half.
McLeod shoots 48% from the line, but he actually got them both to go down there, and that's something his team really, really needed. 21-14. Difference is now a touchdown. Wildcats into the front court with Waite. Right side, and Evans sets it up again. Evans out near the midcourt stripe. So right now they're giving Marlin a break. They're going to defense. Shot clock down to 4. 3, they're going to have to force one up. Shot is good. Threw it in with the left hand going baseline was Jacob Johnson. He's got 4 now. 6'6" sophomore from Mooresville, Indiana. 23-14, the lead back up to 9. See what Davenport can do for an answer here. They're going to try a 3, too strong. And it's 1 and out once again. Wildcats able to own those boards. Johnson in between the circles, comes left side. Waite, he's open, ends up lobbing it into Maharan. Back up top, drive this time from Waite. Look from Maharan for 3, couldn't get the roll, but the tip and the rebound keeps it with the Wildcats here, and they get a fresh 30. Waite to doubles. Doubles kicks left side, Murray. The nice three-pointer will not drop for Evans, and the rebound to Burnett, and he brings it up the floor. Burnett into the line, kicks to the right side, shot is blocked, but it rolled in anyway.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Literally, the shot was blocked into the basket. I'll get Weber for credit him for the basket. 23-16 as Davenport has cut the lead back to 7 with 6:45 to go here in the first half.
Wasn't necessarily, a lot of times you may see a kind of a partial block and it still goes. He got that one pretty solid.
And got it in the basket.
Yeah.
So the NAIA Champions of Character program helps students understand and embody what character truly means. It also provides student athletes, coaches, and parents the training to know, do, and value the right thing, both inside and outside of sports. Learn more at championsofcharacter.org. 6:45 to go here in the first half. 23-16, Indiana Wesleyan on top. After they fell behind early, a 15-0 run has helped stake them to what is now a 7-point lead. Definitely a back-and-forth ball game, though the Wildcats have the lead right now. Davenport with good defense, and I don't think they're in a position right now, Perry, where they have to worry about trying to go out of character, because they can, still do what they need to do. But what's interesting is that Davenport trailed in the first half against St. Xavier in their opening game. But really from that point on, not that their games have been necessarily blowouts, but they really haven't been, I don't want to say tested, because every game is tested, maybe threatened.
I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, and where Indiana Wesleyan had to survive maybe the best game of the championship in their 4-point win over Northwest Christian in the second round, in a game where the biggest lead of the game was 7 points. Just a terrific game. I think you had a chance to call that game here on NAI.org, and it was one of the better games we've seen, not only in the championship this year, but certainly we'd be on the list for many of the championships we've had.
Yeah. Wildcat basketball out of the timeout. Still 12 seconds left to shoot it. Marlin, he's going to have to create here. Down to 8 seconds left to shoot. Rebound, or the pass inside was saved. Here's a look at 3. It goes down.
Boy, what an assist by Marlin that time, as he basically had a touch pass to Peters after it was saved from going out of bounds by Murray, and just a terrific play by Indiana Wesleyan to get back up 10.
He hits the 101st three-pointer of the season for him, and now they're up by double digits with 6 minutes now left to go here in the first. Marlin tips the ball almost into the backcourt, and then Gamble, instead of letting it go, ends up tiptoeing, just able to keep it in. The three-point shot in the corner was made, and a foul. We'll see if they'll count the shot.
Oh, yeah, they're going to.
And they do, and it's going to be a chance for a 4-point play.
Boy, just a solid shot that time up in the corner. That was hit by Kevin Rich. Rich focused on it, and even though the foul was late, I think it was still properly called a shooting foul. So a potential 4-point play. And Perry, if Davenport needed a spark, that might be it right there, after Indiana Wesleyan's pretty much had it their way for the last 5 or 6 minutes on the clock.
Now, Rich has had a good tournament. He averages 10.6 on the season, but games of 9, 15, and 19. And now he already has 7 in this one for the second-team all-conference player. 26-20, a big 4-point play there. Drive, shot is not going to roll in, but a foul. That one just weighted up on the rim, as you could probably see at home. And at the last second, it go ahead and rolls back out. So free throws coming up here for Bob Peters. Peters shoots nearly 80% from the free throw line. First one's good. Now a chance to already get into double figures early in this one. Still 5:38 left to go in the first half. And Peters does have his 10th point. 28-20, it's an 8-point advantage. Davenport looking to get closer. Dominez Burnett with it. Throws cross-court pass. Gamble on a drive. Wants to kick it back out. Ball taken away. Here comes the Wildcats looking to get back up by double digits. Maharan into the lane, and his pass is taken away and stolen. Burnett in transition. He goes tries to go all the way to the hole, but he loses the handle on it. So back-to-back-to-back turnovers.
Yeah, all trying to get going, and not necessarily going in out of control, but certainly going in a little bit ahead of themselves, especially Burnett that time as he lost the handle going to the hoop.
Johnson looks inside, gets the ball back. Cross-court pass, now it's Marlin with it. Jab step. Pass down into the corner. Maywar drives and hits. 30-20. And now they're going to dry up the floor where all the bodies were down just a little bit ago. 4:42 left to go in the first half. Indiana Wesleyan 30, Davenport University 20. Now these two met, the quarterfinals last year.
Yeah, Davenport got the victory, and visiting with some of the Indiana Wesleyan folks, they've used that as a little bit of incentive in tonight's ball game.
Free throw line drive. Hits it with a left hand, and another chance for bonus. As once again, it was Kevin Rich. This time it's a chance at a three-point play instead of a four. But his aggressiveness really right now keeping Davenport in this game.
Especially because, a lot of the defensive attention, as it should be, is going to be focused on Burnett. But Kevin Rich, outstanding player as well, averaging coming into the championship 10 points per game. You mentioned his three-point shooting, as he has had a very good year from beyond the arc. And he is the player right now for Davenport that's letting them hang around.
A very good tournament. We had a chance to talk to him after the Davenport win here on the NAI network after the last game, and he was so complimentary of his teammates and talking about playing together as a family. Here's a shot from the corner for three. It's good. Waite gets his first three-pointer of the game, and right back up to a 10-point lead. Gamble on a drive. He tries to take it himself, misses it strong. McLeod tips the rebound, but the Wildcats come away with it, and then McLeod commits the foul. And we'll have free throws coming down as both teams are in the bonus. 3:50 left to go first half, 33-23. A chance to extend the lead to 12 for Indiana Wesleyan, and Johnson will go to the line. Johnson with 2 field goals already in the game, looking for his first free throw. And the left-hander strong with it. Rebound, though, is run down to the corner by Waite. Marlin for three, strong. And the rebound tipped all the way out to Gamble. Gamble to Rich. Rich is double teamed this time. McLeod tried to drive, lost control of the ball, and had to reset outside. Burnett with it in between his legs. He pulls up for three. Just really having some trouble with the shooting touch thus far. 3:20 left to go in the first half. And Marlin really out there just directing traffic right now. Gives up Johnson. Johnson takes it in, hits. Johnson with his 6th point of the game. 35-23, under 3 left to play in the first half. Indiana Wesleyan crowd comes alive. Cheering for the Wildcats to continue to play the D that they've been playing. Davenport drive, shot blocked. Maywar blocked it, and it's saved in bounds. So here come the Wildcats looking to extend it. What is already 12, and we have blood on a jersey here.
Oh, yeah, and that's
quite a bit. It's
Jacob Johnson that has blood on the jersey. I think there's another
trying to find out where it's coming from. There's two different players with blood on the sides of their jerseys. And I think we may have just found it. It may be Dominez Burnett.
Yeah, so right now we've got two blood on the jersey players. One of them is Jacob Johnson, and I believe the other one is Trevor Waite. Meanwhile, Dominez Burnett's having his arm looked at over on the Davenport sideline. That stops the clock with 2:36 to go here in the first half.
Yeah, and hey, what? I didn't see the second player. Boyd Johnson had a big streak of it all along the side.
So they're taking care of that right now on both sides. Burnett has his arm taped up. Blood is off the jerseys, and
well, they got that cleaned up quick.
Yeah, at least on the jersey of Johnson. I don't know if they're going to be able to get weights done.
Yeah,
here.
they're still working on weight right now, and they've got it, and they've got that disinfectant spray that they put on. It looks like we're both ready to play. And Dominez has been taped up. He's ready to go too, so nobody had to check out. No advantage gained, and we're ready to play with 2:36 left to go in the first half. Again, Marlin directing traffic here. 208 assists on the year for Marlin. That's good for 5th in the NAIA. Here's a three-point attempt, good. That was Peters with his second three of the game. He's got 13. 38-23 now, 15-point bulge. Turnaround jumper. That time it drops. Again, filling it Rich. Rich offense right now. He has got 12 of their 25 points.
And as we said earlier, he is really helping Davenport stay in this game right now. But Davenport really has got to find a way to make some stops, because certainly the game pace right now is that of Indiana Wesleyan.
Another three. This one's off the left rim. Now Davenport gets the stop. Let's see what they do with the basketball. Gamble wants to run in aside. That's McLeod. McLeod misses the bunny, and now we go the other direction. Drive, kick out to Marlin. Marlin at the free throw line. Ends up giving it up to Maywar. Maywar slow it down, and Marlin resets with 15 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Just about a minute difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Marlin on a drive. High archer, no good. And pushing the pace here is Gamble. Into the lane, outside Burnett. Pops out now, Bradford with it. Out on the right wing, tries to come off a pick, but the defense is there. 13 seconds left to shoot. Ball taken away. Wildcats in transition. Coast to coast, layup no good. Probably forced that one against too much defense. Spin move inside. Back out. Drive here by Bradford. And a blocking foul inside.
You know, but that wasn't maybe the worst thing that could happen to Indiana Wesleyan because of the clock. They were probably going to try to get a 2-for-1 anyway. So by missing the shot when they did, and then Davenport shooting when they did, Indiana Wesleyan, after the free throws, assuming they clear the rebound, can run the rest of the half off. They've got 29 seconds to go until halftime, and I mention that because Davenport does have the arrow to start the second half.
Bradford shoots 76% from the line, and he misses the free throw. And you're right. And with Marlin running things, I would be shocked if he doesn't just get across half court and start dribbling and wait.
Well, Greg Tonico's given that instruction from the Indiana Wesleyan bench. So unless something opens up earlier, expect around 8 seconds or so, they will start this play in motion.
Well, we are at 8. We're at 7. Here he goes with 6. Over to the far side. Drive, layup, short, but a foul. 1.4 left to go, and it will be Peters going to the free throw line.
That was textbook right there, exactly what you did. Marlin sets it up. He gets the ball in motion, and instead of trying the three, they realize they've got at least a decent chance of getting inside. Peters takes it to the basket and draws contact. And the thing is, Perry, even if they don't score there, they basically run the entire half off of the clock.
Peters with a free throw. He's got 14 now. 39-25. One more free throw to go, and then Davenport would have 1.4 before going to the locker room. They also have the free throw to start. They also have the arrow to start the second half. And second free throw good as well. He's got 15. It's 40-25. And the ball stolen on the inbound. Three-point shot is no good. Boy, if that would have dropped, that would have been disaster really for Davenport. But we have reached the half of this national semifinal. Right now, safe to say Indiana Wesleyan in control as the Wildcats lead at 40-25 over Davenport. Indiana Wesleyan 40, Davenport 25 as we reach the half of this national semifinal.
And we'll give you a lot of the detailed look on the stats when we come back after our halftime entertainment, but we will tell you real quick that it's 44% shooting for Indiana Wesleyan in the first half, just 31% for Davenport. Davenport only 9 of 29, while Indiana Wesleyan is 14 of 33. Indiana Wesleyan has made 4, Davenport 3 threes in the first half. Indiana Wesleyan shooting 8 of 11 for the free throw line. Davenport 4 of 5. Each team in the first half with 20 rebounds. At halftime, our score, Indiana Wesleyan 40 and Davenport 25. This game, as you see, has Indiana Wesleyan on top of Davenport 40-25. We gave you some of the percentages earlier. Bob Peters for Indiana Wesleyan leads all scorers with 15. Johnny Marlin has 7. Jacob Johnson 6. Josh Mayor with 6. Aaron Murray with 3. Trevor Waite with 3. For Davenport, Kevin Rich helping them stay in the game as he has 12, almost half of their 25. John McLeod with 6. Dominez Burnett 5. And Wes Weber with a basket. But Perry, what's interesting about those stats is not the players I mentioned, but for Indiana Wesleyan, the one player I didn't mention.
Yeah, it's one thing that I pointed out and looked at the halftime, though, that Indiana Wesleyan able to do this, and their leading scorer has yet to, their leading scorer on the season has yet to put one in the basket. Lane Marin has yet to put one on the board. So, you know, a lot of things we talk about in the national championships here is other people stepping up, and that's exactly been the case.
But to be all fair as well, Indiana Wesleyan does have 4 average in double figures,
yes,
and those guys you just mentioned. Bob Peters, though, already almost hit on his scoring average. He averages 17 a game, and he's at 15 right now. So Indiana Wesleyan balanced scoring, holding Davenport to 25 first half points. 20 minutes to go here in this one from the College of the Ozarks Skeeter Athletic Complex. Davenport does start with the basketball in the second half as Nick Gamble will bring it up and set the offense. Dominez Burnett, look probably for him to try to get more involved in the second half to help Kevin Rich, who had a good first half, but helping him stay in it. In the corner, shot for 3. Here is Rich. That one's going to be short. And the rebound by Johnny Marlin for Indiana Wesleyan. Goes on the right side on the baseline, and we'll kick it back outside. Drive to the basket, kick out. Shot clock down to 15. Around the perimeter, Marlin has it outside. Clock down to 10 on this possession. Marlin just going to take it to the hole himself, kick it outside. Quick release shot from 15 is up. That's going to be too hard. And the rebound by Burnett for Davenport. Outlet to Gamble down court. Gamble navigates through 3 defenders. The one-hander, though, doesn't go in. And it's Carlson, or make that Johnson, with a rebound for Indiana Wesleyan. Each team 1 and out. Davenport 2 and out on their opening possession of the second half. Drive by Johnson. Double team there. Gets it inside for the layup. Boy, pretty pass. And there you go, Perry. Lane Myron has his first basket of the game.
A nice cut going to the basket and a pretty pass getting it right on him where he can lay it in.
42-25 Indiana Wesleyan. Here's a one-hander, no good. Rebound put back up, no good. Follow-up up, no good. 3 misses right there for Davenport, and it tells you a lot of the story of the first half.
McLeod had a couple of good looks at it, just couldn't get it to drop.
Indiana Wesleyan continuing to expand the lead. Marlin goes in the corner. Lob pass inside, gets it back out. Tell you what, Mayhor wasn't expecting it, takes it up anyway, misses it. Good defense by Davenport that time. And here comes Gamble on the run for the Panthers. His underhanded layup way off the mark and knocked out of bounds by McLeod, and it's going to stay or go back to Indiana Wesleyan.
17-point lead and the basketball.
Indiana Wesleyan, the 2014 national champions. Pass down court. Inside. Shot will be up. Blocked out of bounds by Burnett. As Mahurin could not get that shot to fall, but Burnett was there to block it out of bounds as the clock stops at 17:44.
You know, this Wildcat team's used to shooting the ball well. They shoot 52% for the season. Number one in NAI.
Number 4, Wes Weber.
Over half the shots they take go in. That's incredible at any level.
Yeah, no, and they've had very good percentages here in the national championships as well in their shooting. Missed shot here, though, and a rebounding foul, I believe, will be called on Indiana Wesleyan, as they're going to get Johnson for fouling on the rebound.
For his second foul. First team foul.
Indiana Wesleyan, 31 victories, 32 victories for Davenport. Unlike the first matchup where you had a team that was making a surprise run in IU East, you've got a number 1 seed and a number 2 seed in their respective brackets. Two teams very experienced. We mentioned Indiana Wesleyan's championship. Davenport's been to a couple of semifinals. They're trying to get over the hump and win a championship in their final couple years of NAI. They'll be leaving the NAI after next season. In the corner, here's a shot for 3 by Gamble. That one is going to be short and just misses the support, and the rebound cleared, but to the wrong person. Indiana Wesleyan had it, and instead of throwing it up court, he throws it to the side, and it goes right to Wayne Bradford. And Greg Tonical wants to know about the support. He thought it hit the rebound, hit the support beam, and I got to say, I thought it did too.
Well, it hit the top of the backboard for sure and bounced and went up.
Second team foul.
Which, if it just hit the top of the backboard, that's okay.
That's fine.
If it hits the support beam, that's where the problem comes in. First free throw good by Bradford. That's his first point of the game.
Well, you know, in the old days, there's no doubt it would hit the support. There was a line that used to come out diagonally that's no longer there.
Second free throw also good. Bradford with a couple of free throws. Davenport, 71% free throw shooters for the season. 2 there, 42-27, their first 2 points of the second half as we've nearly played 3 minutes. Marlin right side to Johnson, ball taken away, and a foul call. They got the initial steal, but then when Burnett tried to get the ball a second time, he knocked it away. Then when he tried to collect the ball, he ran into Jacob Johnson doing it. Burnett's second foul. That's just Davenport's first foul here in the second half. Mahurin will throw the ball in on the sideline, just down from us here at press row. It's game number 30 of 31. We just got one more after this one. Tomorrow night, crowning a national champion at 6 o'clock. Here at College of the Ozarks. Traveling call as Mahurin kind of got a little bit ahead of himself that time and took an extra step. You know, Davenport doesn't score a lot of points, but that's not saying Eric aren't capable of going on a run. We saw that in their opening round win when St. Xavier jumped out to an early lead, but Davenport came roaring back, and really that was their biggest challenge today, was trying to overcome that early deficit against St. Xavier in the opening round. Here's a jumper that's barely going to draw iron. Shot was rebounded by Marlin, but he was on the out-of-bounds line when it did, and it will stay with stay with Davenport. Mayhor, who had checked out just a moment ago, back in the ball game, as Greg Tonical will start rotating players out here in the second half. Lob comes in. Burnett now has it on the right wing. He'll try a 3. That one rolls in and out. Long rebound, put back up, and in by Wes Weber. Weber, right place, right time there, and Davenport on a little bit of a run here as they scored the last 4. 16:20 to go. Lead is down to 13 for Indiana Wesleyan, 42-29. Marlin around midcourt, looking over the situation now in the front court. Ball lost a moment, picked back up. Ayor has it left wing, back out to Marlin. The shot clock down to 7. Marlin gets a good screen, kick out, shot for 3, up and no good. Rebound almost collected by Indiana Wesleyan, but tipped out of there by Weber and picked up by Davenport. And there's no doubt now in the last couple of minutes, this game has more of a Davenport feel to it as Indiana Wesleyan starting to miss and Davenport starting to capitalize, though they can't there. They missed the 3 and the rebound to Indiana Wesleyan. Still a 13-point Wildcat lead, 15:35 to go. Little give and go inside, and not exactly sure where Aaron Murray was throwing that one. And we're going to have a timeout called by Indiana Wesleyan. Indiana Wesleyan takes the timeout with 15:29 to go in the second half. And Indiana Wesleyan maintains the lead right now as they have the advantage by a score of 42-29. As we told you earlier, tomorrow night it is the NAIA Division II Men's National Championship game. It can be viewed on ESPN3. It'll be on the air at 6 o'clock. We'll start just after 6 o'clock for the championship game. That's where you can find tomorrow night's game. And then don't forget, check out NAIA.org and Stretch Internet has complete coverage of the NAIA Division I Men's and Women's Championships. Will get underway on Wednesday. Don't forget, ESPN3 is the home not only for the finals, but the semifinals of the Women's Championships in Sioux City, Iowa. As we are winding down, 17th year. And Perry and I have been around pretty much for all of these. And, you know, it's, you know, when you think back to 2000 when we were first hosted the championship here, and, you know, how new it was and how exciting it was. And, of course, College of the Ozarks, the host team, made a run, finished second that year, which certainly added to it. But, you know, there's just so many teams that we've seen come through, and quite frankly, some of the teams that made runs early haven't maybe been here the last few years, but you're taking a look at two teams right here in Indiana Wesleyan and Davenport that have been regulars over the last half dozen years here, and also St. Francis, who won the first game, and a whole group of teams that, and I really think this is a championship like a lot of tournaments of this nature where there are just certain teams, I would certainly put Cornerstone in that category, who won it here last year. Oregon Tech, the years they made it. They knew how to play in this championship, and it is not like the regular season with the format that they use. There's a lob pass inside, reverse layup is good, and that a pretty layup inside by Lane Marin, who gets now up to 4 points.
Well, and all those schools that you mentioned always seem to find a way to give themselves a chance to win here, no matter what kind of season that they had.
Mid-America Nazarene was like that before they and the rest of the Heart of America went to Division I. They were a team that always played well here year in and year out, and even claimed the title back in 2008. Foul call on the rebound on Indiana Wesleyan. We're 14:50 to go here in the second half. 44-29 is the score. We'd have to look back, but if Indiana Wesleyan ends up winning this game, at least in the point lookout years, we would have to check and see how many times past champions had met. I can remember one just off the top of my head, but there may have been a couple of others as well. Here's a shot that will be up, no good, but rebounded by Davenport as they hustle for the rebound. Gamble gets it, put back no good, but there is the man that's helped keep him in offensively, Kevin Rich, who has his 14th point, and Davenport again back within 13, 14:20 to go. Drive by Marlin, this time gets around Gamble, shoots and scores. He just waited his time there, Perry, until the defenders flew by him.
And this showed the patience he needed. Once he had the ability, he went up and finished the shot. It was all set up by his drive.
46-31. 13:50 to go here in the second half. Here's a shot for three, no good. And Marlin tips the rebound away from Burnett, and he goes down court. Doesn't like the numbers, so he'll kick it back outside for a three. That will be no good. Rebound picked up. Indiana Wesleyan now will push it back outside. They get a chance to regroup. Marlin has it on the right wing. Mayhor hands it back to him, and now they'll regroup with 20 to shoot. Lob inside. Ball knocked away from behind. Good defensive play that time by Bradford. And a layup at the other end will be good by Kevin Rich. And a timeout called by Davenport. Davenport will take a 30-second timeout, 46-33, as we have 13:18 to go here in the second half. You know, I was thinking about that, and I actually think I was thinking of the wrong year because, no, I was thinking of the right, I'm sorry, I did get the right year. It happened in 2011 when Cornerstone beat St. Francis in the national championship game. St. Francis had won it the year before, And Cornerstone had won it. Now, they hadn't won it at Point Lookout. That was their second win of the overall. They'd won it in Nampa in '99.
Yeah.
But that was a matchup of past champions. And in looking at the rest of them.
You're talking about when past champions met in the finals?
Yes, here in Point Lookout. And again, even though that was a matchup of champions, Cornerstone had previously won it in Nampa.
Well, when College of the Ozarks met up with Oklahoma Wesleyan, that was Oklahoma Wesleyan had not been in the finals before. That was the first time they actually won it.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
That is exactly right.
That would be an example of a conference team playing in the championship, which we could end up having again.
Yeah, and looking at that in the Point Lookout years, that has not happened. As the only other time it did happen was that year Perry mentioned in 2009 that two teams from a conference that no longer exists, the Midlands Collegiate Athletic Conference, met in the finals, as Oklahoma Wesleyan defeated College of the Ozarks that year 60-53. Taking a glance back at the Nampa years, I can't see that it happened there, although I'll be honest, some of the conferences, I don't know their origin, so it may have happened some in the early years, but not lately. And again, if Indiana Wesleyan holds on, that will be at least certainly the second time here at Point Lookout that teams from the same conference has met in the championships. Davenport, though, with a steal here. Back the other way is Gamble. He misses the shot, but a hand check will be called on Trevor Waite, which will send Davenport to the line.
Number 13, Trevor Waite, his first. Team foul 4.
I guess the other thing we can look at, if Davenport rallies to win, is has there been times that teams from the same conference has won back-to-back championships, which would still be in play. Now, obviously, Bethel did it because Bethel won it back-to-back years, so, but as far as another team doing it, that would be one to check out on as well. Nick Gamble makes the first free throw. That's his first point of the game. Davenport back within 12.
Checks into the game.
Indiana Wesleyan down in shooting percentage, and really the percentage of shooting not very good right now for either team. Just under 40% for Indiana Wesleyan. Davenport still only shooting 27%, 12 of 45, but using their defense and free throws to help stay in it. So again, it seems to be a trend we've had this year, Perry. The team in front right now, while not comfortably in front, you kind of feel they've got a little distance, but they're not far enough away to where the other team can't come back. The other team, Davenport, is still within shouting distance.
Yeah, and they got to do that until they get on, but they've got to continue to get stops, and if you're the Wildcats, so you want to just continue to press and do what got you here.
And again, part of that is a credit to Davenport, who has really ratcheted up the defense here in the second half. Remember, Davenport is a team that only averages giving up 63 points per game. And they're not really that far off of that right now. When you look at it, they're holding Indiana Wesleyan to 46 right now. Outside, Johnson gets it to Marlin. Quick release three as the shot clock expires is no good. And Davenport clears the rebound.
Well, they've done a nice job, especially in the second half. After giving up 40 first half points, they've only given up 6 in 7.5 minutes.
There's Kevin Rich with the three. He has 19. And this is an 8-point game. 46-38. Right now, Craig Tonical not going to call a timeout. He's going to tell his team, keep running the offense. Marlin on the baseline. Outside to Johnson. Now goes over on the left side. Quick pass inside. Post up. Shot is up and in by Jacob Johnson. 8 for Johnson. That puts Indiana Wesleyan back up by 10. But after Indiana Wesleyan had him at a distance for a little while, I think Davenport kind of feels like they're back in the game now. Inside. Pass, though, is going to be deflected. Intercepted. Marlin ended up with it. I think Johnson's the one that got a hand on it inside. In the corner. Double team. Shovel pass on the baseline, looking for the open man. Kicks outside, back inside it goes. Post up by Mahurin is up, and no good. Too hard, and Burnett clears the board. It has a tip from behind, but Burnett continues to control it. Now it's right back into the hands of Branford. Burnett drives baseline, has the opening. Kick out, shot for three, up, yes sir!
3-point basket for number 3.
Now we'll get the timeout.
And back to within 7 is the Davenport Panthers. 11-12 to go. Still a lot of game to go. Indiana Wesleyan holds on to the lead, but now only by 7, 48-41. Praise student athlete has a great ring to it. Join 60,000 others who feel the same way. You'll never run out of room to grow on the court, in the classroom, or as a person. Learn more at NAIA.org. 48-41, Indiana Wesleyan with 11:12 to go here in the second half. Scott McCauley along with Perry Phillips as we are, what is the saying? I guess we're closing the place down.
Looking that way.
Yeah, here for our coverage of NAI.org and Stretch Internet, as we remind you, ESPN3. We'll have the championship game tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock is the championship game tomorrow night up in Sioux City. And then the Division I championships will get underway on Wednesday. The very same schedule at both locations, Kansas City and Independence, for the men's and women's championship. They'll start with 8 games apiece, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Quarterfinals Saturday, semis and championship the following Monday and Tuesday. 17th year for College of the Ozarks. It will be here at least next year, as we know the new contract signed last year extends it to at least 2018. And of course, as natives down here, I shouldn't say natives, but as current locals down here, as Perry and I am, we hope it will continue much longer than that. Fun of it, we enjoy helping covering it and partnering with NAI.org to bring you these games courtesy of Stretch Internet and NAI.org. Indiana Wesleyan's lead down to 7. Marlin has the ball in his hands. He lobs it on the baseline that goes to the reverse layup, which will drop in. Extra pass there, and finally Trevor Waite has it in his hands. And Indiana Wesleyan back up by 9. Here's Gamble to the basket. Kick out three is up, no good. And the rebound brought down by Indiana Wesleyan's Trevor Waite. .40 and counting on the clock. Left side Waite, lobs inside, shot up, good.
Lane Mahurin.
Lane Mahurin gets the layup. 52-41. Back to an 11-point lead as a 4-0 run by Indiana Wesleyan's got the lead back to double digits. Drive by Gamble at the free throw line and the blocking foul called. Little hands in exasperation by Greg Tonical.
Trevor Waite called for his second foul.
It does look like, though,
foul.
that the player may have been a little late getting there, which is why that blocking foul was called. 52-41, 10-14 to go. Boy, this has got the feel, doesn't it, of a game that's going to be going down to the wire.
It does.
Here's a drive by Rich. Boy, Kevin Rich has had a great game for Davenport. He leads all scorers with 19. 52-43, the Panthers back to within 9. Under 10 minutes to play. Marlin right side, then he throws it inside, and they were trying to find, I believe, Mahurin inside. Bob Peters threw it in there, but Lane got tangled up in there with two of the Davenport players and never could get to the basketball. So an unforced turnover will give it back to Davenport.
And Davenport can draw within 7 or even 6 if they hit a 3.
Checks back in.
9:50 to go. As it will be Gamble that will bring the ball back up. Nick Gamble, the junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Drive inside. Shot will be up, and it will roll home for Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan gets his first bucket of the game. And Indiana Wesleyan's lead is down to 7. Step back, now inside to Mahurin. In the outside, he posts up, and the ball is going to be knocked down, and also knocked down is Mahurin on the foul by Kevin Rich. Who was it we were talking to? I think it was Joe Parsons, the broadcaster from St. Francis. We were visiting with him, and he said there was quite a few players in these championship semifinals from Fort Wayne.
He did. He was talking about double-digit people.
A lot of Fort Wayne players in this particular ball game. Of course, University of St. Francis is in Fort Wayne, but 3 Indiana schools, and plus Davenport, close by Michigan, and Davenport, just a quick look, CC has at least 2 Fort Wayne players in there.
Yes.
Free throws up and good by Mahurin as he makes them both. He has 8. 54-45. 9-point Indiana Wesleyan lead. Bradford loses the handle, gets it outside, and we're going to have a foul called. This will be the 16th foul on Indiana Wesleyan. That'll be interesting to check out now, as from this point on, it'll be free throws for Davenport. It's also the 3rd foul call on Trevor Waite. Burnett will throw the ball in on the baseline, near the corner. Back outside it goes. Gamble wants a quick drive to the basket. Gets it and gets it to fall.
Off the glass and in.
7 for Gamble. 54-47, back to a 7-point game. Harlan will come back in after a rest at the next dead ball. Evans with the ball now. Left side it goes to Peters. Peters tries to throw it inside. It's deflected, I think, off of Burnett out of bounds as they were trying to find Mahurin inside. Lob pass. Free throw line, Mahurin drives, shoots, and can't get it to fall. Rolls around and out. Lane tries to steal it, but he can't get it. Gamble down the other end. 3-on-3 bank. Gamble kicks out. Burnett decides to drive in and will have the ball knocked out of bounds. A lot of contact inside, no foul. But Davenport will still have the ball as it's deflected off Indiana Wesleyan. And Bert Paddock, the Davenport coach, asking the official about that very thing. Burnett on the baseline, being guarded by Johnson. Kick back out, 3, Rich is up, no good, too hard, and a good block out on the rebound by Waite. Coming up on 8 minutes to go, 7-point Indiana Wesleyan lead in the ball. Running their offense, and there's going to be a foul called. I think they're going to get Jason Jordan for the foul.
Foul is called number 10, Jason Jordan.
That's only the 13th foul on Davenport here in the second half, so they still have some fouls to give, Parent, which could become big if they have to try to make up some ground. Can be aggressive on defense.
Checking in for Davenport,
as they
number 30.
Try to work back in. And of course, this is a good defensive ball club to begin with. Only 7 points to make up. But it looked like Indiana Wesleyan might blow it out in the first half. But Davenport's did a good job of staying in it, getting back in it, being very patient. Try to throw the ball on the baseline. It's narrowly deflected. Mayhor gets it back. Shot clock is down to 15. Marlin backs it back outside. Now Marlin wants it again. Gets it outside to Mahurin. Mahurin, step back shot inside 18 feet, no good. 2 rebounders there, but they actually deflected it away from each other. And it's Davenport's Adia Marsh that comes out with it. Davenport again can get closer, and they will. Shot up and in by Jason Dorn, and Davenport knocks 2 more off the lead. It's a 5-point Indiana Wesleyan lead. Lob inside, and Mahurin falls down. Ball tipped away, gets back out to Mayhor. Top of the key, drive into Mayhor. Layup will be up, no good, but he's fouled.
Mayhor just goes right down the middle of the lane there.
That was called the number 2.
And it was interesting with
his 3rd foul.
When they were trying to pass it in to Mahurin, that it was almost like he couldn't move that 1 foot. It was trying to get his balance back, and it still ends up going the Wildcats' way as they were able to get the ball into the hands where they needed it there. But Mayhor cutting down the middle of the lane, and still he kind of stopped short and went up kind of for a soft jumper, but drew the contact.
First free throw up, in and out, no good.
76% free throw shooter on the year. He made 1 a little bit, or actually made 2 a little bit earlier.
1 more on the way, up, and good. Shooting at 72 coming in. He's had a good free throw shooting tournament. They raised the percentage up. Lead is 6, 55-49. So Davenport with just a basket could knock 1 more off the lead and get it to within 4. They won't this time. The follow-up, though, they will. And what a terrific play by Nick Gamble as he was not blocked off. And look here, 55-51, Davenport back to within 4. Indiana Wesleyan in need of a basket. They try a 3, and it will not count because an illegal screen is going to be called on Jacob Johnson. And that's a big turnaround, 6:25. They got the 3 to go by Johnson, but it's not going to count. And let's see what kind of turning point that is in the ball game, because that would have been a huge 3 to go down. Now with the 3, Davenport could be to within 1.
Yeah, as opposed to 7 if that would have counted.
6:25 to go. Now Davenport definitely has the game their way. This is what they like to play. Very defensive-minded. They've got Indiana Wesleyan off their game and not panicking, just slowly getting back in the ball game. Still plenty of time, 6:10 to go. Weber has the top of the key, gives it to Rich. Rich, actually, we're going to have a hand to the face of, I guess that was Waite. Waite gets a hand to the face.
They didn't originally call a foul, but after he laid there for a little bit, they blew the whistle. And let's see if they don't go look at the monitor here.
Yeah,
they are going to call it.
They're going to call the foul.
And they're going to go look at a monitor now.
His second foul.
You know, and
foul.
This is one of those situations, and I know if you're a Davenport fan, you're not going to like how this was handled. In fact, if I was a Davenport fan, I wouldn't like how it's handled, because you're going to say, where was the call originally? But what the official saw, and they're going to look it on the monitor if it's going to be a flagrant 1 or 2, I think is what they're checking right now. But here's the thing, is obviously something happened. I mean, he didn't get the he didn't get hit in the mouth by himself. Something happened there, and the official may not have seen the original contact, but did see the result of it. Now, we have a monitor about 3 tables down from us. They're going to look at it and see what the play is.
And they're asking for the other official to come over and look as well. And this way, the official that actually made the call is not one of the ones that's doing the review.
Yeah, which makes sense. And remember, Pete Hansen, the supervisor of officials down there, and he may have asked them to bring the other official over so they could figure it out. But what happened is the official that made the call made it after the fact. What happened is that, and I think it was Waite that got hit, he had fallen down to the ground, and in fact, he appears to be okay, but I mean, there's no doubt he got hit.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I originally thought it was a hand that hit him. Looking at the replay from my angle, it looked like an elbow got him.
And, you know, we had this discussion. Dave Beckett and I had this discussion on one of our NAI radio network games, and it was a discussion where there was a foul call in one of the games where a kid had got a rebound and threw the elbows, but he was close to him to secure the rebound. Well, one of the players got hit, and it was still called a flagrant foul.
Yeah, and this is a deal. This is going to be called a flagrant.
And let me finish the explanation. So what happened, though, is as Dave Beckett explained it, is that it's not always intent, but it's the result of the foul. Because in the game, and I think it was one of the Briarcliff games that we did on radio, there was no doubt it was not an intentional foul. But it was. But just because it's not intentional doesn't mean it's not flagrant. It's the result of the foul.
Right.
That's the key. And I think that may be the same thing that's going on here. It did not look like in any way it was an intentional, malicious foul, but it did happen.
Yeah.
He did get hit in the mouth with an elbow.
And the difference is it is a flagrant 1, not a flagrant 2. There's no ejection. But under the rules, that is the right call.
2 free throws made, and now Indiana Wesleyan.
Both free throws.
But here's the deal. It's a big call in this ball game because now, again, looking at the scoring situation, you've got 2 free throws plus the ball for Indiana Wesleyan, and a score here, if they hit a 3, it all of a sudden becomes 9.
Yeah, and so, and remember, it was Davenport's ball during that. So not only you lose possession, you get a free throw, and the other team get the possession.
Let's see if Indiana Wesleyan can capitalize on it. Inside it goes, and they're going to call a foul as Mahurin goes to the basket. They're going to get Kevin Rich for the foul. You know, and I would say, and this is certainly just my opinion, and anybody that watched it, because the people watching has had a lot more looks at it than we've had.
Yes.
We had one look at it.
Team foul 6.
It was obviously the right call. I don't think it was an intentional foul.
I agree.
To be honest with you, I think it is just a bad break for Davenport, and maybe not such a good break for Trevor Wade, who got hit with the elbow.
Totally agree.
Mahurin makes the first free throw, and the leading scorer for Indiana Wesleyan, who was scoreless in the first half, has 10 here in the second half. So one more on the way to make it an 8-point lead for Indiana Wesleyan. 5:51 to go. Still plenty of time in the ball game.
And I'll agree, at full speed, I didn't know, but once I saw the replay, there's really no doubt in my mind that they made the right call.
So I'll be honest with you, now I'm not quite sure what's going on now. You know what? I think what they did is I think they've mixed it up.
I think they did too. They're talking about now they may have put the foul on the wrong side a little bit ago.
No, I wasn't thinking about that. What I'm thinking about, here's the deal. It was, okay, we got two different plays, so you may be right.
Yes.
Because we had play since the foul was called. So now we're going to have I think that's what you're talking about, because the foul was whistled on Kevin Rich. That's who got the foul call. And we'll see what the call is coming out. But the foul on the board is on Kevin Rich. So the first free throw was good by Mahurin. He has 10, so one more on the way for Mahurin, trying to give his team an 8-point lead. It is good.
And after being scoreless in the first half, he's got 11 points, or 10 points.
So in essence, it turned out to be a 4-point swing. Burnett, though, helps change that on a nice feed from Campbell. Dominez Burnett with his 7th point. And Davenport back to within 6, 59-53, 5:35 to go. Indiana Wesleyan trying for the answer at their end. Kick out to Marlin. Marlin hands it off. Davenport does a good job of fighting through the screen that time. Marlin decides to take it himself, and it's no good. And a rebounding foul going to be called on Davenport. This will be their 7th team foul. So that is going to send to the free throw line Josh Mayhorn.
To number 2, Davenport Burnett.
Both teams down in the 1-1. Both teams with 17 fouls here in the second half. Mayhorn at the line. Perry told you about his free throw percentage earlier. He makes the front end, 72% coming in, but closer to 75, 76% if you count the games in the tournament. So he's been solid at the line for the Wildcats. He has 7 points in this ball game. One more. That one is no good. And correct that, he actually has 8 in the game, according to the board here. But maybe we're right and they're wrong. We'll go with 7 right now. Here's a kick out to Burnett. Burnett kicks into the corner. Here's a shot for 3. Yes, it is down.
For number 14.
Wayne Bradford with the basket.
Wayne Bradford. Timeout, Panthers.
Bradford puts Davenport to within 4. So even though that whole sequence went Indiana Wesleyan's way for the most part, Davenport hits the 3 and gets as close as they've been in a while. (60-56) the score. With 4:56 to go, and looking at the official form, they also have Mayhorn with 8. So we may have to adjust our scoring elsewhere, but we'll go with the official count on the stat sheet for now. 8, 60-56 with 4:56 to go in the second half. Timeout called by Davenport as they have now pulled closer in the ball game. You know, it's amazing how this game flies around, Perry. Here's Indiana Wesleyan that had a whole sequence that went their way with the flagrant foul, the free throws and stuff, but Davenport hangs in there and they get a 3 in the corner. And looking up at the board, they still got plenty of time, only down 4.
And it made what happens if you just continue to play defense. So your offense comes around, it gets you right back in the games, and that's exactly what they've been able to do. After scoring 40 first half points, they've been able to hold them to 20 in the first 15 minutes of the second half.
And again, holding them very close to the average. I mean, they only allow 63 a game, and they're going to allow more than that tonight, but not by much the way they've been playing defense here in the second half. 60-56. It's a 4-point Indiana Wesleyan lead, 4:50 to go. Marlin being guarded by Bradford across midcourt. They'll run the offense and still looking to run clock. Still looking to run their offense and be solid. Mahor has his, or excuse me, that's Mahurin has his pocket stripped inside. And here's Davenport trying to cut the lead to 2 or even closer. Ball loose on the ground. It's picked up. Rich gets it inside. Shot will be up. No good. And a battle for the rebound. And we're going to have a foul called on Davenport on the rebound. Wow, you talk about a couple point-blank looks at it. They had an opportunity there. They just couldn't get it to cash in.
John McLeod, his third foul.
And then McLeod ends up committing the foul, trying to grab that rebound himself, and now free throws. And once again, it's Maywar at the free throw line.
Josh Maywar at the line, 1-1.
Mahor made a couple a moment ago. This is 1 and the bonus. Mahor in the game with 8, and he'll stay at 8, and he misses the free throw. Davenport with another opportunity here. Bradford will run the offense in this set. Bradford goes inside, and a blocking foul is going to be called.
That's Maywar.
They'll get Mahor with the foul, his third.
Maywar called for the foul, his
and
third.
So Bradford steps to the line. Bradford is 76%
bonus.
free throw shooter coming into the tournament. He has a chance to get his team back within 2.
Trevor Waite.
You know, when Davenport has just done this slowly, they have not made a major run. They have not, raced it up and down the court and scored a bunch of points. They've just slowly, by attrition, worked their way back in the ball game. First free throw, though, bounces out by Bradford. So each team now has missed the front end of a 1-on-1. Coming up on 4 minutes to go. 4-point Indiana Wesleyan lead in the ball. Winner to play St. Francis for the national championship in NAIA Division II tomorrow night. Outside it goes. Now Johnson wants to drive. Spin move in the lane. One-hander is up and in. Now Jacob Johnson to double figures with 10. 6-point Indiana Wesleyan lead. Bradford to the hoop. Pulls up. His shot will roll in and out. Follow-up, though, is up and good by McLeod. McLeod's had a couple of those in this ball game. Back to within 4. 3:30 to go. Tell you what, this is a lot like Indiana Wesleyan's game against Northwest Christian, isn't it? Very, very similar. That game was a little more high scoring, but has the same tenor to it, especially here late in the ball game.
Tell you what, how big is that 15-0 run right now that Indiana Wesleyan had in the first half?
And how big is this? The ball gets trapped on the rim. It goes Indiana Wesleyan's way because of the arrow, and they get a new shot clock.
It does, but now the other side of that is they do lose the arrow now.
But I think in that case, they'll take the trade off.
Because there's no telling who would have got the rebound if it had come back down.
Yeah, and that also keeps in mind the near jump ball at the other end that they called a foul instead, where had that been called a jump ball, it would have been. Here's a shot for 3, barely draws iron. Boy, that was a quick release shot attempted by Peters. And now Davenport, chance to cut the lead to 2 or 1 as we're down under 3 minutes to play. Gamble takes it to the hoop, tries to get through the zone, and he does. Tell you what, they were trying to zone that a little bit, and Gamble just found the hole. Greg Tonical is going to call a timeout. Timeout Indiana Wesleyan as Davenport has clawed back to within 2. 62-60, Indiana Wesleyan holding on right now against Davenport, but still plenty of time. 2:39 to go in this one. The NAIA Champions of Character program helps students understand and embody what character truly means. It also provides student athletes and coaches and parents the training to know, do, and value the right thing. both inside and outside of sports. Learn more at championsofcharacter.org.
Now, Scott, 2:39 left to go at this point. Now you got to wonder, every possession means so much different. It's critical that you run your offense and do everything you can to score every time you have the ball. And at the same time, defensive stops will make a difference between now and the end of this thing, the next, I guess, 159 seconds to see who's going to win this and advance to the championship game.
Okay, to reset where we're at, 18 fouls apiece, so one more one-on-one before the two-shot foul. As Perry pointed out a moment ago, the very critical arrow now points the way of Davenport. Indiana Wesleyan will have the ball coming out of the timeout. Davenport, despite trailing much of the game, certainly in the second half has made this their game. Right now holding Indiana Wesleyan to 22 points, while Davenport has 35 here in the second half. A tremendous run, but there's no doubt this is a Davenport-style game right now. And Indiana Wesleyan looks like they're going to pull this out. They're going to have to play Davenport style to get it here in the final 2:39. Shot clock is down to 22. Marlin with the basketball for Indiana Wesleyan. Johnson now with it in his hands. Work the perimeter. Over to Marlin. Shot clock down to 10. Marlin over to Mayhor. Now actually that's Verheeren with the ball in his hands. Goes cross court. There's a shot for three that's up and no good. Rebound though goes back out. And the shot clock has reset. Inside it goes out and will reset. In the corner. Drive to the basket. Shot will be blocked cleanly. And here comes Davenport the other way. A chance for Davenport to tie or take the lead. And timeout going to be called by Davenport. I'll tell you what, Bob Peters had a couple of open looks at it and just couldn't get it to fall.
So they got the score and got the stop now. You know, the two things that we talked about there in the break. Now 154. And again, chance to tie or take the lead here. This is boy, going down the wire. This is kind of the game we expected to see between these two as far as margin goes.
35-22. Davenport has outscored Indiana Wesleyan here in the second half to get back within two. Perry, listen to these shooting percentages. Davenport 37.7, just under 38%. And same for Indiana Wesleyan, except it's 37.5. 23 of 61 for the Panthers, 21 of 56 for the Wildcats. Davenport with 6 threes, Indiana Wesleyan with 4. And Davenport has not shot as many free throws, but has a higher percentage. They're 8 of 10, while Davenport is 16 of 22 at the free throw line in the second half.
Now, so Davenport is holding Indiana Wesleyan, a team that normally shoots 52% from the field, to under 40.
And most of that in the second half.
Oh, yeah, because they had shot so well early. So it really
Indiana Wesleyan shot 42% in the first half. Yes, under their average, but they had held Davenport to 31%. Well, that has certainly changed here in the second half. So now it's Davenport basketball. Again, still plenty of time, 154, so even Davenport takes the lead, still plenty of time for Indiana Wesleyan. Gamble across midcourt. Bounces it to Bradford. Right side, Burnett. Burnett off a screen, and he leans into his defender. Davenport doesn't like the call, but it's the right call. He definitely cleared out inside, it looked like.
Now James Pouncey, the official, right there on it, immediately made the call going the other direction.
Dominez Burnett whistled for the foul.
Into the game for the Panthers, number 10, Jason Jordan. Checking in for the Wildcats.
And I tell you what, that's his 5th foul. I didn't realize he had 4 fouls. So that is a big.
And how about this? They hold 25.4 score, the number 3 scorer in the nation in NAIA. They hold him to 7 points. Talk about a defensive effort.
So Burnett fouls out of the ball game. And yeah, I know they'll probably be talking about that one a little bit, but I'll be honest. And again, we don't have a horse in this race here. It looked like it was the right call. It looked like he leaned in. 62-60, 1:43 to go. So Davenport will have to play the rest of the game without their leading scorer. But Davenport still within 2 and still has that great defense. So this game's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Indiana Wesleyan by 2 with the basketball here.
And again, Davenport doesn't have to foul. There's still plenty of time. Still 1:20 to go. 10 on the shot clock. Johnson to the basket. Spins the lane. Layup will be no good. Tip it will go in. And who is it? It is Lane here, their leading scorer, that tipped it in. 4-point Indiana Wesleyan lead.
Still, shot clock favors getting 2 shots for 1 here.
Gamble to the basket. His one-hander off the glass and in. Big Gamble, he's been big in the second half for Davenport. Lead back down to 2. And again, the shot clock now, as Perry mentioned, 20 seconds to go. So unless Indiana Wesleyan takes a quick shot, Davenport will have the ball last. Of course, if Indiana Wesleyan scores, then Davenport's going to need 2 possessions. Shot clock down to 10. Marlin bounces it outside. Long shot for 3, up, no good. Rebound to Davenport.
Now the shot clock and game clock virtually identical, so they can hold here.
Again, holding for the tie or possibly the win. And we're going to have timeout called by Davenport. Timeout called by Davenport. 18.8 to go. Indiana Wesleyan holding on to a 2-point lead.
They will inbound right in front of our position. And we are right here on the sideline. We're on the left sideline, about 8 feet in front, 8 feet on top of the circle.
So Davenport, again, you have options here. You need the 2 to send it to overtime. And even though Davenport's played well defensively, I mean, let's face it, Dominez Burnett's not going to play overtime. He's fouled out.
Right.
So if you're Burt Paddock, you think about going for the win here.
Well, if you get a good look at 3, there's by no means do you have to. And the way you play defense, I think you're fine going without him. You take your chances if you can get it to overtime.
Well, certainly after trying the whole game, you would. I mean, there's no doubt that the momentum is in favor of Davenport right now, even with Burnett fouling out.
Remember, Burnett only scored 7 points in this game to begin with. Yeah. Definitely the star and a star of all of NAIA. But you have a lot of other people on this team. Kevin Rich with 21 on the evening. What a championship event that he's had.
Yeah, and
he may have averaged 10.6, 9 points in the first round, but then 15, 19, and now 21.
Well, and he really probably becomes your go-to player in this situation, which obviously Indiana Wesleyan knows. So maybe somebody like Gamble, who's had a good second half.
Yeah, has had a good second half. Jordan, don't forget Jordan. Jordan's hit 46 threes as well this year.
McLeod's had some good putbacks off of missed shots. So I mean, they've certainly got some things they can do. So here's the inbounds play. We'll let it play out here. Here is Gamble. Clock is down to 15. Davenport needs a 2 to tie, 3 to win. Outside it goes to Bradford to 10 seconds. 8 seconds. Bradford spins the lane. One-hander is up. No good. Rebound tip to Indiana Wesleyan. Going down court for the layup is no good, and a foul with 2 seconds to go.
And he does a nice job of at least getting close enough going for the ball so that he does not get an intentional foul. So it's real important here now. If he only makes 1 free throw, Davenport will still have a chance. That is the 10th team foul, so it is 2.
Let's see when Burt Paddock will take the timeout. He's got timeouts here to give. And again, he may wait till the first free throw to know what he has to set up here. First free throw is up. Good. 16 for Peter. He makes 1 more. More than likely, Indiana Wesleyan playing for a national championship.
He shoots 79% on the year.
He got them both.
First 2 points of the second half.
Three at the buzzer is good, but it won't make any difference as Gamble's three is going to make it a one-point game. It's Indiana Wesleyan that will play for their second championship in 3 years. Indiana Wesleyan moves on to take on their conference foe, St. Francis, in the championship game. Your final score, Indiana Wesleyan 66, Davenport 65.
And how about this, Scott? After giving up 40 in the first half, they only give up 26 in the second half. They score 40 themselves, but the difference, they only scored 25 in the first half. 1 point, but that 1 point is huge, and it sends one of these teams to the national championship game tomorrow night.
So it's a crossroads reunion in the national championship game tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on ESPN3 as the St. Francis Cougars will meet up with their conference rivals, Indiana Wesleyan University, the Wildcats, who St. Francis beat 3 times in the regular season. Your final score, Indiana Wesleyan 66, Davenport 65. The shooting percentages, Davenport actually outshot Indiana Wesleyan in the second half, and for the game, 39% to 37%, but the free throws down the stretch, and the big free throws by Bob Peters to win it. Peters ends up with 17 as he leads Indiana Wesleyan to the victory. Again, the final score.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could please direct your attention to center court.